Hi everyone, this is Lorraine from Cooking Good and welcome to this video which is about making a Burns night shepherd's pie. Now I'm making this with 2 tins of haggis, which is, you can have fresh haggis but you have to cook it, so I'm using this tinned haggis because this is what was available in the food aid bags today. In some of the areas of Northamptonshire. I'm also using a kilo of swede. You can use turnip if you want to, unless that is a turnip. Somebody can tell me the difference. And I'm going to use some potatoes, about kilo and a half of potatoes. These have got some eyes in them, but they're perfectly okay, so I'm going to take the eyes out and peel those. But you can use some tinned new potatoes if you want. You don't have to have the mashed potato, that's entirely up to you. And I'm going to have this with, we're going to have this with some Brussels sprouts. You also need about 45 grams of butter. This has got 50 marked out on it, so we only need about that much butter. I'm also going to add some of these sliced mushrooms because they are coming in a tin as well. You can add other veg to this. It already has some onion in it, so if you're cooking haggis from scratch, you may want to add 1 small onion to the mixture, or you could add some peas if you want to add some extra veg in there. So let's get started. Now the swede or the turnip, this actually takes the longest to cook. So I'm using a peeler, but you can use a knife or any type of peeler you like. And we need to basically peel this all the way and chop it into small chunks. So now we're going to put the swede or turnip into the pan and boil this for around 30 minutes. And now we're going to chop the potatoes and put those in the pan. Don't need to be, it is if you're making the mash. If you're doing the new potatoes, if they're tinned, they won't take very long. But these potatoes are going to take about 15 minutes once they've boiled. That's why we do the swede or turnip first. Oops, and that got away. So I'm going to fill this just to the top of the potatoes. If you want it to cook quicker, you can use boiling water from the kettle. And that's going to take about 15 minutes to cook. Okay, so now we've got our parsnip or our, our turnip or our swede that we need to mash. But before we do that, I put the oven on about 180 degrees because we're going to have this in a tray, a cottage pie. So we need to use half of our butter, half of our 45 grams, so it's about 22 grams, with our parsnip, our turnip or swede, and we're going to mash that. And here we have our cooked potatoes. Make sure they're cooked through by using a fork, and that the fork goes through the potato okay, and the same with the turnip or the swede. And again, adding the rest of the butter, and we're going to mash that as well. So this is our potato that's been mashed with a regular masher. This is a plastic one, but you can get metal ones if you're using them non-stick pan. That's okay to use metal. And also our turnip or swede, that's also been mashed. So we're just going to put these on one side, and we're going to get our baking tray and start preparing our shepherd's pie. And now we're going to take our haggis. This is the tinned haggis, and I'm using a fork for this so that we can put this into our baking tray. Bearing in mind this has already been cooked. And remember, we were going to use the mushrooms as well. So I've taken the water off this tin of mushrooms, I've drained them a little bit, and now I'm just going to spread them out over our cooked haggis, which is basically lamb. You can use vegan haggis if you want. And you can layer this up as much in however you want to. I'm just going to put one layer of the neeps and then one layer of the tatties. I suppose this is another way you could use any regular lamb if you wanted to, cooked with a little bit of stock and onions. Now potato. I'm going to make sure the potato covers everywhere. There we have our Burns Night shepherd's pie, ready to go in the oven for about 25 minutes until it's browned a little bit on top, and then it's ready to eat. So while it's in the oven, I'm also then going to cook the sprouts. So they take about 10 minutes. So at about 15 minutes in, when this is in the oven, the sprouts are going to go on. Okay, so here we have our Burns Night shepherd's pie. All ready, just come out of the oven. We want to eat it warm with our warm Brussels sprouts. So let's see what this is like. Okay, so here is our shepherd's pie, our Burns Night shepherd's pie and some Brussels sprouts. And let's see what that's like. Not bad at all. Brilliant. Okay, look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for tuning in.